Ta-da! What is happening out there, my friends? Yours truly, Rockin Dave, the real deal. North Fort Myers, Southwest Florida, and all that good stuff. I wanted to start it out with just a little bit of a jam there. You know, a lot of people ask me about, you don't use the wah pedal that much. Well, I do in certain situations. John, what has happened? John Dawson, thank you so much, my friend. What is happening? Jeffrey, what is up? Thank you so much. I really appreciate you tuning in, man. Thank you so much, guys. As the thumbnail, yeah, I did put the thumbnail up title here. Let me grab a little swig of my decaf. No more caffeinated coffee, gotta go decaf route. Today happens to be Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. It's the 5th month of the year already. And they say time doesn't fly. Trust me, it does. I guess that means we're all getting older, huh? Alright, so my friends, as the title implied, I'm going to touch some bases here. Hope I don't spill this and make a fool out of myself. Oh, what the hell, right? You live once. I know I'm like in a cloud. I guess we're going to be getting new phones next month. So you won't be seeing this cloudy. Because, you know what, the reason why it's cloudy like this on my phone is right here where the camera is, the screen cracked. And it causes this blur. Yeah, see? That's part of the pickup. Oh, yeah. Maybe not. But it's causing a blur. Anyways. As the title implied, giving you an update on the gigs here. Sunday, toward, I don't know, maybe it was like around 4 o'clock. Between 4 o'clock, I got a text message about a gig available up the road from me. And, you know, I do gigs at this place every now and then. The guy that's the owner or manager, Nick, he's always cool. He's a good guy. So I figure, you know what, this would be a good opportunity for my friend Red Tractor Ray and I to do something over there. And so I left him the message and everything was cool. We're good to go. But it kind of came in almost last minute. So I had to message Ray. The songs we were kind of going over, I this week I have no time to get over to this house to rehearse. So the songs that we're going to play together, I've been rehearsing those. And so the thought is this, and this is going to morph into the other part of the subject of the matter of what's going on with some of the gigs now. Well, before I get into that, we might have a little bit of a slower off season than normal, maybe, I don't know, because there's definitely things are changing. So because things are changing, and we got this gig secured, I was telling Ray what's been happening is that, you know, more and more younger people are taking over the management position and at these restaurants and or the booking entertainment position. So with that being said, you know, they're going to hang on to a little bit of the older stuff for a while. Then it's not going to completely go away, but they are bringing in a new generation, meaning also a new style of music, more up to date. So with that being said, let me move a little closer, guys. I feel like I'm way far away, like you need binoculars to see me or something. So what that does, let me get this over here. Okay. So what that does is kind of challenges everything. Plus, we're getting into off season. So before I get into any further, with the gig here. So last Monday, was our final gig at Jungle Bird for the season. We play there every Monday in season, from the first Monday in January to the final Monday in April. And then it slows down, and then that dwindles, you know. And Jeremy, he's a good guy. He's always been good to us. You know, he did make mention that, you know, maybe we'll do a couple of gigs during the summer on a Friday over there, which would be great. So that was that. This past Saturday, was our final gig at University Villages. Now, we only did 2 gigs there this season. But the people that run Miramar Outlet are also the same group of people that run University Villages. They've always been good to us. So, and the funny thing is, we're back at University Village. I mean, not University Village, Miramar Outlet. So, the end, actually, it would be what? Saturday. I believe Saturday is the last. What's happening, guys? Lisa, what's happening? Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. How's JoJo doing? I still wear the bandana that she gave me from Motorcycle Sunday, Warehouse Church. That's part of my costume. That stays with me because of the gestures. She did a nice gesture, give us the bandanas. I honor that. I really appreciate that. So, uh, yeah. Oh, good. She's glad to be grad. Oh, yeah, she graduated. Congratulations. Congratulations. Good for her. So happy, so proud. I got a lot of students writing with me that they're grad. This Friday is their, I guess their last day. They're graduating. I guess middle school will graduate either this week or next week. I can't remember. Or maybe toward the end in a month. But I mean, the kids are great, man. I'll tell you what, they make everything worthwhile. You know that? They really do. They're a blessing. When you can look through the eyes of young kids, and just listen to the things, listen how they look at the world, man. If all of us could look at the world like they see it, it'd be a much better place, man. You know? So, yeah, so I think the Saturday is the 31st. Yeah, it is. Saturday's the 31st. We're at Miramar Outlet in front of Ford's Garage. So we're booked then, and then we're booked June 1st. We're at Miramar Outlet by Ford's Garage. So we got back to back, which is cool. But I'm going to accept and understand about this summer. Maybe get slow. It might. I don't know. Let's see what we got. Hey, what's happening, brother? I think you need to clean your lens off. Looks like, yeah. You know what it is? Here's the problem. I'm gonna move up a little closer. The actual problem is my screen is cracked right here. I got the phone facing me. When I face it the other way, where I can't see the screen, then there's no issues. Here, check it out. Let me see if I could do that. Watch. Wait a minute. What happened? Yeah, see? Now, you should have nothing blocking except the junk that's in the way. Some of my hard supplies. Oh, and my Digitech loop pedal with the SD cards. Yeah, that's better, see? But now if I turn the camera around, I'm not going to be able to see the comments. So, or unless I leave that, here, let's do this. So you can see a little bit outside without seeing all that junk in the way. Yeah. Okay. So, now I can still see the comments. You just can't see me, but you can hear me. So anyways, with my thought process is this. We still have our gigs on the calendar, and they usually come sometimes a little bit late, sometimes not. Oh, and then we got 2 gigs up in Orlando. Not the last week of this month, but the 3rd week of this month. So we got 2 important high-end corporate gigs, and this company, they come every other year down here, and it seems they've been hiring me every other year, so which is great. I really appreciate it. They're great people. And we still have another gig at Music Walk, and then we have our art gig for our art show. We have our booth, Sight and Sound, there, and we usually sell paintings, and I'm playing in the booth and that. But now my thought coming this Saturday, the 10th, is, and I mentioned this to Ray. The thought behind this is, we got 3 sets. Okay, he starts off doing the first set, the stuff that he does. The second set, I'm gonna do my stuff, and then the third set, we're gonna do the songs that we know to play together. And until we could build on this, there'll be more songs. I think I'd like to really keep this in that fashion, meaning that he does a set by himself, I do a set by myself, and then we get together and play the third set. And the reason being is that it's going to give these places more of a variety, because our styles, they are different. Ray, he's definitely into like the classic rock, some of the folky stuff. He does you do like stuff like Neil Young, and stuff like the band America, and some Eric Clapton, and then he does some of his originals. So hopefully he'll do his originals when he does his set. So it's definitely of the classic rock vein. And the stuff I've been doing lately, I mean, I'll still do some of the classic rock in that, but some of my originals are going to be more in the jazzier vein. And like the little groove I put in there, just I opened up tonight's live stream with. And the reason being is that I am seeing this shift of audience. Younger folks are coming down. Downtown Fort Myers is definitely becoming more and more like the college age kids. And, you know, they're not really into the classic rock stuff. Not all of them. There are some that will be into it, but trust me, not all of them. They'll be more into the dance, like the EDM, the electronic dance music. They're more into that, and into some of the what they call the chill out music. I've seen a couple of videos about this topic. A lot of college age students are into. They'll listen to some of that chill music. It has a nice groove to it. It's nice slow beats and stuff like that. It helps them when they're studying, at least according to some of the videos I've seen. But what it also helps them with, or they can identify it. When I'm playing that kind of music, where it's groove oriented, sometimes the slow stuff, obviously I'm not singing. So it's the rhythm that's catching them. And I lost track of count how many times I've had these young college age folks walk by, whether I'm downtown Fort Myers or we're at University Villages, and University Villages is just that, it's the college campus, the University of, Florida Gold Coast University, or Florida Golf Course University, FGCU. Anyways, there was it last week or the week before when I played there? Young boy and his girlfriend, they're walking by, and I'm playing one of my originals called Inspiration. And man, he's giving me the thumbs up, and the girls looking at me, they're kind of moving and grooving. Now, number one, they don't know the song because it's my original. They never heard it before. Number two, there's no vocals. And number three, what's pulling them in is the rhythm. So I've noticed it with that. I've noticed it when we're downtown Fort Myers. And I get these compliments from these kids. And I shouldn't call them kids. They're early to mid-20s. But you know what I mean. And I have a few times them come up to me and say, you don't sound old. And we like what you're doing. And a few times they say, man, I didn't know you could play guitar like that. Because they're used to seeing strumming and singing and Beatles and all of that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what's happening is we are getting further and further and further away from the 60s and the 70s and even in the 80s. This summer it's going to be 40 years ago. 40 years ago. I took my Ibanez Artist, my 1978 Ibanez Artist guitar, and my friend's Gibson J45 acoustic, I think it was. I thought we traded guitars, but maybe we were alone in them. But I really was under the assumption that we traded. And it was his dad's guitar. So I took that Gibson acoustic and my 1978 Ibanez Artist and traded it for a really low budget X Series Ibanez Destroyer with a bolt-on neck. I mean, it was a great metal guitar, but it had a lot of sustain in that because it had very high output pickups in it, but the quality craftsmanship was nowhere near that Ibanez Artist I had. So, I traded that in like a fool. Regretted it. But it was 40 years ago. Time has gone by. So my point I'm making is that everything that we grew up with is getting further and further and further away. Now, we do have a lot of people, a lot of seniors down here, but you know what? As the years are going by, and as the hurricane's been hitting, people have been moving away. But even minus that, as they're getting older and older and older, they're not being able to go out as much as they used to. And Deb and I talk about this a lot of times. We see downtown Fort Myers, after Hurricane Ian hit, and they were able to do a rebuild. They did a rebuild all right, but it brought in a whole, I want to say it's at least 85% college age people that we see down there, or maybe no older than their 40s, and then the rest will see older people. But before that, it was all primarily older people. So things have changed. And that means these restaurant owners eventually start to see this. And especially if they have a younger person that's going to take over for management and you'll start doing the bookings. And I know this is happening because not only do I see it, the places I've called, every single place I have called, they have made a comment about, well, we're trying to basically see what's out there, trying to update. I know in one place I called and I said about the classic rock, and I told the girl, I said, well, it's not gonna be anything too heavy or anything. And I started dropping names in the style of, or the covers that me and Ray were gonna do. And as soon as I mentioned like Beatles and Neil Young and stuff like that, her first response was, yeah, that kind of sounds old and dated. And she started dropping names of what she's mostly looking for. Basically, that's what, in a nutshell, this was. And she dropped names I never even heard of. So, because now she sees the younger generation. A comment that was made on one of the news radios I listened to in the morning, a guy made a comment about the young girls help the restaurants and clubs sell liquor. And when he means young girls, it means college age girls. And the reason being is they'll go out and then here comes the boys. That's natural. Opposites attract, my friend. Boys come out, but it's not just the young college age boys that come out. I've seen also the old men, older than me. They want to come out, man. They got that they pop that Viagra and everything, and they think they're getting lucky, which, unless they got some big bucks, they ain't getting lucky. All they're going to do is watch the girls wiggle around and shake their stuff. But because of that, they sit there and they watch. Not only do they watch, they start spending their money, their retirement money. Especially some of these guys, they retired from professional jobs. They got bank, man. And it's not going to really hurt their wallets. They sit there and want to see if they could get lucky with some 20-something-year-old that's going to give them a heart attack anyways, you know what I mean? They spend the money. The restaurant owner or manager starts seeing this. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. Let's review our month. Let's review the month. Every time we have this younger generation come by, and obviously the younger generation, they want to hear this EDM. A lot of it's electronic dance music or the dance music. They don't want to hear the strumming and singing. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm being factual for what I'm seeing. So it brings the young generation out, and everyone's spending money. Then they'll say, well, next week we got a classic rock band comes out. Now, unless that classic rock band has a big draw, what I've been seeing, even if their big draw is mostly all the seniors, if the senior population coming out to see that band has been dwindling and the young generation has been flourishing and growing, bingo, we got to start rethinking the wheel here, because when it comes down to dollars and cents, we need to see what's selling. It kind of puts everybody in a really unique situation. That's why I mentioned when I put the post up, is your style of music getting irrelevant? And we're starting to see the tip of that iceberg, my friends. Now, I can't say this is everywhere, but I'm going to make a, I see it definitely down here. But I'm going to make a educated guess. It's not only down here, it's going to be everywhere. The one thing we cannot control and stop is the aging process. We can't, we just have to go with the flow. So, where I think we've been coming in, when I say we, me and Deb, is the music that I've been playing. It's almost like this bridge between these two generations. Even though I'm a baby boomer, I think I'm the last, I'm the trail end of the baby boomer generation. I was born in November 1963. So I could associate with all the stuff I grew up with, all the stuff in the 70s and 80s I love to play, everything. But I could also associate and see this new style of music, which really is not new. It's just a different form. And what I mean by that, it's a different form of a groove. It borrows from the jazz and the fusion stuff. Let me give you a good example. Back in the 70s, when the disco era was really popular, going to Lakeview High School back in the 70s and 80s, back in Chicago, I remember you either had the t-shirt that said disco sucks, or you had the t-shirt that said rock sucks. You had the two styles of music butting heads. And then what started to happen was, as time went on, within the 4 years I was in high school, I seen the shift more and more of the so-called disco bands adding in more electric guitar solos with overdrive. They always had the guitar going on because they actually were playing instruments. And if you think about it, now that I look back on it, all disco was a different form of the jazz fusion that was popular in the 70s. They just simplified it and made it more danceable. But really, it was borrowed from jazz. So now you fast track to 2025, and what I'm seeing is all these grooves, and even earlier in 2025, but I'm just going to keep things simple here. You fast track to up to date now, and the only difference between is hip-hop stuff and that, the beats, yeah, are different, but they're not too off from the jazzy stuff. It still has a groove. What they call hip-hop used to be bebop, but it just morphed different. And if you're very clever and very creative as a guitarist, you could definitely find ways to put stuff in there. For instance, if I'm doing a clean sound, with the phase shifter, they're all jazz chords. They're not really difficult jazz chords. Really what they are is minor sevenths and major sevenths. That's it. But it's the rhythm. It's a groove. And these kids could associate with that. Then I could put in my overdrive, and it's like, okay, I could make that fit. Because I like Santana. I like Carlos Santana's playing and Al Di Meola. A lot of kids, they don't know Al Di Meola unless they're into the jazz. But a lot of them know Carlos. And they're like, wow, that sounds cool, And for some reason, it just really, really fits. And I think that's what's been making us relevant, because we're that kind of that bridge in between these two different generations. And I'm only breaking it off into two different generations. I know there's all the in-betweens, but it's either one side or the other, and it's bridging the two together. So my thought process with doing this gig with Ray and moving forward is, a lot of these places do 3 sets. I know up at Dean, south of the border in Punta Gorda there, they'll do 4 sets. But I'm just right now just concentrate on the 3 sets here. Again, he has his style of music. Then I have my style of music, and then we get together and play the other stuff together. And what this, I'm hoping, will do is the two different generations that are sitting there, it opens up to each other on a live basis. Now, you might have more, this gig being from 3 to 6, the beginning of it might be the older generation, the tail end of it might be the younger generation, or somewhere in between. The reason why I make this comment, guys, is I have noticed this, especially over at Jungle Bird. I've noticed at other places that I was playing earlier, but I noticed at Jungle Bird. I'm playing 6 to 9 there, and I would see ladies, like ladies having their ladies' night out, and they'll bring their daughters, whether they're middle school age, high school age, or early college age. I've seen them come out. So they're sitting there with their girlfriends, or maybe with grandma, and it's all the ladies there. When I start playing stuff that has a groove to it, right away, that those young kids, they're sitting in their seat, they're moving and grooving right away. They have no idea it's one of my originals. They don't care. And when I put the electric guitar melodies, some like they think that's cool. But the main thing that's getting them is that rhythm. And I've noticed this. And then some of the moms, if the moms are in their, let's say they're in their 30s, they could kind of associate with it. Grandma, I guess she can. She likes the jazzy stuff. And I'm not saying that works all the time, okay? But what I am saying is that I have noticed this. So what I'm starting to see, the two different generations are, always at these are restaurants. They're always there. Oh, and by the way, anyone out there that plays, and let's say you're doing a 3-hour gig, you're doing 3 sets. Here's something to consider. When you're playing at a restaurant, let's say you don't have enough material to do all 3 sets, but you got the gig and you want to take it, you want to get out there, and the music you have down solid. If you have enough material to carry you through 1.5 sets even, or even just 1 set, keep in mind, when let's say you take a break, tables turn. People leave, new people come in. The new people come in, they haven't heard you play those songs. So if you're in a pinch and you only have enough for 1 set, then you do the second set playing the same songs. Maybe rearrange them. And if you have the ability to stretch a song out or two and improvise around it, go ahead. Now, I know some people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. Nobody wants to always repeat everything. But I'm going to tell you right now, there are times, because I repeated songs, that the first time around I didn't get a tip on it. The second time around, here comes all the 10s and 20s. Wow. A different crowd came in. So keep that in mind. You're going to have all kinds of advice on gigging. I'm going to tell you something. Don't listen to me or anyone else without you checking it out first. However, one of the reasons why I stream my gigs live, I like to be able to showcase what I do. I'm being honest. But it also shows you what goes on at these gigs, so that if you want to go out there, you could see. You might go through it, you might not go through what I go through. Maybe, maybe not. But it gives you an idea, at least, of what is happening out there. So you could be a little bit better prepared. If there's a reason why I don't watch as many demo YouTube videos as like I used to, because none of them doesn't apply to me, because I don't see it in action. I need to see, what does the pedal or the guitar do at a live gig? How could it hold up? In the bedroom is one thing. Now, if I'm going to do something on the computer, I give these guys and gals a lot of credit, because they're very knowledgeable on hooking this stuff up to the computer. They would blow me away in an instant. Absolutely. But I don't do that. I'm out there gigging live. So I need something that's relevant to me. So that's why I don't watch a lot of those videos like I used to. I thought, man, I'm starting to see some pattern here that it's not applying to me. So it's like this. If I want to learn how to fix a car, I think I'd rather hang around someone that's doing it hands-on, and it's actually going to say, okay, Dave, try this, put your hands in here, try this, try that, rather than someone watching a video and reading a book. And I'm not knocking it, but if that's all you do and watching a video and reading a book and you're not getting your hands dirty, I'm not going to learn much from that. I need to see exactly, because things are different in the book than are out there in the reality. It's just different. It's just the way it is. So again, going back to, if you only have a few songs, if you only have one set of songs that can only handle one set, maybe bring acoustic guitar as well and do acoustic versions of those same songs and kind of rearrange them. Because like I said, you're going to have people, the tables, they do turn. You're going to have different people coming in and leaving. So, and my thought process again with doing one set with Ray and one set with me, it's going to give these people a variety within that same thing. You know, back in the day, in Chicago and in the suburbs of Chicago, you know, we'd be playing, it'd be like 3 different bands. And even if it was the metal circuit, it's kind of like 3 different bands, 3 different types of sounds. Even though it's metal, a kind of a variety. And when I did the top 40 circuit, yeah, we were the only band playing. We were playing all these dance songs and that. And it was a great experience, don't get me wrong. And yeah, I took it like, okay, if ever someone needed to give me a call, I better be ready, you know. And I'll tell you what, that did prepare me, because we very seldom rehearse. When we got together to rehearse with that band, it was mostly for the vocals and for me to put in little parts here and there, because I didn't sing. And I still don't sing. But otherwise, you do your homework, man. You do your homework, and you know what? We get together at the gig. And I'll tell you what, when you're put in that situation, boy, I tell you, you man up real quick, man. You sink or swim, because you have no choice. And it does make you strong. But for anyone that is looking to do something and, you know, you're kind of stuck, and you start noticing a change out there, because a lot of times these restaurant owners and managers, they're trying to predict what people want to hear. And they'll say, oh, yeah, this works and that works. And then they're starting to realize, yeah, that's been working for maybe the last 25, 30, 40 years, but times are changing. People have moved away. People have died off, passed on. A new generation's coming in. Now it's a totally different thing. So how do you be relevant? You adapt, or you just get left behind. Or what you could do is just be this, like, in the middle and kind of grow into it. So, but I'm, again, hoping that this will help inspire other people out there. And if there's restaurant owners out there, or people that work in restaurants you're managing, you know, it might be a good idea to take this in consideration. Say, hey, man, you know, we got this one band or duo coming out, and one in particular, they're very diverse, to the point where let the one guy play a solo for a whole set if he wants to by himself. Then let the other guy do the solo by himself, and then the two get together and play. Or let it just be something different also for the people that do stick around. Because you see, the tables were turned on the tables, but then maybe the people at the bar are sitting there for like 5-6 hours, you know. So it gives them something of variety to look at as well, and to hear too, you know. I'm going to play something that's going to give you an example of a nice slow groove. And I think the video I got of this is what called Got a Minute. This has been pulling some of these people in. And let me go ahead and do this. Okay, guys, it's getting a little tight here. And this is one of the styles of this nice, what I call, it's still jazzy, slow funk, smooth jazzy. I guess this is what they considered in the category of chill music. So here we go. Let me get down there. Hope you can hear that. Yeah, so you see what I mean, guys? A little bit of a slow groove, and adding the overdrive, you know. So I could still kind of rock out, but just bridge the two styles together. So, you know, and not everyone's gonna like it, and that's okay, you know. But because of that, it I've been noticing it just brings everybody kind of together, and it's just something that's been working for me. So I'm gonna kind of do a little bit of the melody I've been working on this one song here. I'm sure you guys are gonna recognize this, at least the melodic solo here. Let me make sure I'm not too loud here. And okay, so in this one particular song we'll be playing, and watch because I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna mess it up, but that's okay. That's why I got till Saturday to practice it. But the melody goes like this. I messed up in between there. Let's try that again. It goes like this. I gotta work on it again. See, I forgot it already. But now in a situation like that, because I'm in the area, what I'll do is I'll write a certain note, and I'll try to play to the rhythm. It might not be the thing exact, but at least it's gonna fit better than nothing, or fit better than a bunch of clinkers and clunkers. But that's why, you know, I'll go over certain things for a while and then practice it, and then for me it'd probably be only the one time I play this song, and then it'll get shelved, but I'll write it down because it's really not my style. And this is what I mean by getting together and then having Ray do the style that he likes, and then I do the style I like, and then with the songs that we could play together, we put those together. And it kind of creates a variety of a show within a show. It's something to consider for anyone out there that is gigging. And then you don't have to put yourself through all the stress, because everything's changing out there. So, anyways, guys and gals, I hope this has been helpful. Hey, what's happening? Oh my goodness. Yes. Hey neighbor, I'll have out in Fort Myers. Yeah, exactly. I saw a couple of videos. Yeah, you got a great voice, man. I'm like, holy crap. And I think you might have done a collaboration with Hugh Caldwell. I used to be on a lot of the guitar channels. Yeah, but I just got so busy with the gigging on that, and I can't. You know, when you come to that Y in the fork and that Y in the road, you got to pick one or the other sometimes. And then if you could do both, maybe one will get more of the attention than the other. You know, there's only 24 hours in a day, guys, you know. Yeah, see this? Yeah, Peggy, yeah. Nice to meet you, too. Yes, Hugh and I have worked together. That's great. Now, he's a great guy. And, you know, like you know, I don't know, are you actually, hold on one second. I got, the little cat wants to go out of the room. And then I got a question I got to ask you. So, are you performing down here at some of the places? Because you're going to know about this, because you know how some of the places are down here. And here's another thing. Don't be afraid or intimidated to play to backing tracks, because the reason why a lot of us do this, yes, it's convenient. Sometimes it's hard to put a band together, but you know what's really tough? It's easier on the club owner's pocketbook. it's getting harder and harder to pay a full band. Okay, let's see. I think you responded. I used to sing. Oh, the Hideaway. Okay, yeah. When now we do a lot of the art walk and the music walk, so I'm sure you're familiar with that. You let's see. Oh, you're downtown Fort Myers. Yeah, yep, yeah. We do downtown Fort Myers, the art walk and the music walk. Now I used to wear the hat a lot, and when it gets colder, I'll do that. But I'm starting going back to just wearing the bandana. I gotta let my body heat escape because it gets hot down here, as you know. Oh, let's see. Well, sorry, but I mean, yeah, I did art walk for 5 years. Okay, yeah. Are you still involved in doing it? There's a new girl that's been doing this. Her name is Lori, and she's been really good to us. Very, very good to us. So I think, Peg, then you would know the 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 purpose behind the music walk originally. Oh, let's see. Oh, I am not gigging. Okay. Anywhere. Okay. Okay. Now, is it because maybe you just got a little burnt out from it, or you just sometimes it's good to have that time off to go over new material and if you're writing material and things of that nature, sometimes the time off, the break from it is very, very helpful. I know Hideaway, and the Hideaway is not, it's right down the street from City Tavern. Before Hurricane Ian, City Tavern used to have bands play there. I don't think they have anymore because every time we're down there, whether it's the art walk or the music walk, when we're getting ready to leave, it's the dance music from the Social House and then Bay Street Pub, I think it's called. And when we walk by, yeah, there's nothing going on live, but there's always a line to get in over at City Tavern, and they got a lot of this flat screen TVs, and where the stage used to be, they kind of filled it in with tables. So they don't have music. And Hideaway now, when we walk by it, when we're done, they always have a DJ. Let's see. Sorry about my phone's kind of funny here. Yeah, sorry. I went to so I can. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's okay. Computer, you type better. I'm real bad with typing, Peg. I'm one finger. My wife laughs at me. She could blaze through everything. One thing with yeah, let's see. Yeah, for now I just do live. Yeah, on YouTube. Yeah, it's very convenient. And you know what, Peg? If you think about it, and everyone out there, one thing with YouTube, it's the perfect platform. You can hit everything worldwide. Let's see. Sorry about that. Yeah, from time to time, I go to open mic, but haven't been to one in a while. Well, you know what? Um, every Tuesday, I wonder if you've been at the Thursday night one in Cape Coral, Educators Music, right on Pine Island Road by Santa Barbara Boulevard. You know, where they got the Burger King in there. My friend Chris owns it, and Ray, he hosts the open mic. Oh, you never been there? Okay. Now it's every Tuesday from 5 to 8. It's it's a little bit away. Depending on where you are, where you're living at in the downtown area of Fort Myers, you just have to, take Tamiami Trail to where Bayshore Road ends and Pine Island begins, and go left. You go west, all the way. You'll pass Cleveland. You'll pass the Home Depot. You'll pass Michaels. You'll pass Del Prado. You'll pass Andalusia Boulevard, and then you'll come up to where Santa Barbara Boulevard is, and it's on the left-hand side. There's a little shopping mall. Educators Music is right in there. You'll see the Burger King. Okay, yeah. Normally I went to pickle and pub. Now where is that at? I think I got a student named Doug. I thought he talked about pickle and pub. Okay, oh, you live by McGregor Boulevard. Okay. Yeah, I know exactly where it's. Oh my God. Yeah, you are a neighbor. You're Pickle and Pub is on McGregor. Oh, okay, McGregor Boulevard. Okay. Is it before or after um, Edison Ford Estate? So, like, if you're downtown Fort Myers and you start going down McGregor, I know there's a Publix there, and I think across the street from that Publix, there's a restaurant, but I don't know what that's called. Let's see. This is real interesting. Yeah. Oh, they have open mic there. Okay. Oh yeah, Danny. Let's see. I have this little thing that's in the way, so I can't see exactly everything. Let's see. We used to host open mic at a place called Danny's Pub in Naperville, Illinois, far west suburb of Chicago. Oh my God, hey, this is cool. Danny's Saloon too. You know what? I think that's in. Is that in Marco Island? Well, it could be another one. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. Close these blackout shades. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I have a friend of mine that he's a drummer and an artist. He's a great painter. Oh my God, his name's Gordy, and he's going back and forth between here and Michigan. And yeah, what I was gonna say about this. So it happens you start getting older, you start forgetting. Okay, now let's see. Okay, if you're going south on McGregor past Cape Coral Parkway. Okay, yeah. If you go south on McGregor, it's past Cape Coral Parkway. So it would be coming toward us in the downtown the Fort Myers. Deb and I, we live here in North Fort Myers, so we're just right up the road from downtown, right on Tamiami Trail. You go over the bridge there, and boom, you're in the North Fort Myers, and we're just past Bay Shore, where Bay Shore and Pine Island intersect when they meet. But yeah, Cape Coral Parkway. Yeah, and past Cypress. Okay, okay, past Cypress Lakes. Okay, yeah, I think that is it. I know just down the road from Pickle Pub. Okay. Yeah, have you ever played at a place called Yucatan's in Matlacha Island? We used to play there. I had a residency gig there every Saturday before Hurricane Ian for almost like 2 years, and then after they reopened, we were there for every Saturday and Sunday for about maybe 4 or 5 months, and then they were doing work on the bridge on Matlacha Island, and then they lost a lot of business because it was just down to one lane, and people were like, man, they'd be stuck in traffic for a long time. Yeah, all these are in Fort Myers. Yep, Yep. Yeah, just Hideaway. Okay, yeah, Hideaway was a really cool place. We got down here. We moved down here in 2017, and there was a guy I teamed up with, vocalist. His name was Mike. And that was one of the places that we were looking at. And we started getting busy. We started playing at Rusty's in Cape Coral, and then we did Rusty's in Fort Myers, and then we did Old Soul Brewing that was in Fort Myers. It's not there anymore. We did and on our own, because I do with the instrumental music. Deb and I, we did this thing for the Chamber of Commerce over at the Broadway Palms Theater. We were on the stage, and the place was packed, man. Let's see. And, Cruises. Okay, Cruise too. I had 2 shows there. Now, Cruises, that's right by Cape Coral Parkway. Oh, that's on 47 Terrace. So, Jungle Bird, in Cape Coral. Jungle Bird is just south of Cape Coral Parkway, and Del Prado. The next street south of Cape Coral Parkway is a street called Lafayette, right behind that hotel. But I was only there every Monday from January to the end of April. That's the in season there. Okay. Do you know Ken? No, or I might have known him. I might know him if I see him. Because the only Ken I know is a guy named Kenny. I can't pronounce his last name, but we call him Kenny G. He's a guitarist and singer, and he used to play at Yucatan with me on Saturday. I'd play early and he'd play later. And then how he does a lot of stuff up in the Punta Gorda area. Wow, this is a small world. Yeah, oh, by the way, I did subscribe to your channel too, and I'm going to be checking out the rest of the videos. Yeah, you got a great voice. I was like, wow, man. Yeah, Cruises in Cape Coral. I have a friend of mine. His name is Doug. He was a member of the Cape Coral Chamber of Commerce. That's how we met him when we were members. And his girlfriend, I think her name is Dina. She'll play. Oh, she does sing. She'll sing to the tracks. A lot of people are doing that. And, honestly, Peg, I don't see anything wrong with that because I know how hard it is getting a band together. And like I said earlier, it's also tough. The club owners and restaurant owners, they really don't have a big budget. So it's hard to play. There used to be a band called DVS, and it was literally the letters D, V, and S. DVS. If you said it fast enough, it would sound like devious. And I remember I ran into the drummer, and this was again when we first got down here, that he played in her last version of the band, the girl, the singer, her name was Beth Ann. And he was going to try to talk her into reviving DVS. And we all met together, and I forgot where we met at. We were talking, and, he did a lot of traveling, like Deb and I, we did a lot of traveling with our music, and we started talking about all the road shows, and kind of felt bad because Beth Ann, she's sitting there, she's like, oh, we never done any traveling, because it was a cover band what they were in. But I forget the drummer's name. We did show bands, and that's what we were doing, like all these corporate shows and then stage shows where you sell tickets and all that. Well, he was trying to talk her into reviving. And again, this was like about 7 years ago. And I could tell Beth Ann was kind of like burnt out from it. I think she was going through a divorce or something like that. Maybe I don't want to misspeak here because she's not here to defend whatever was going on. But she has I think she's got a son, and she really needed to make money, not waste time. Okay, now we get the drummer, we got the guitar player, okay, a bass player, maybe a keyboard player, and all that. So she decided to go out and play with the tracks. And I remember I was playing at a place called Anchor Inn, and she was right at the Naughty Parrot, which is right next to it in Marina Town. And I was talking with her for a while, and I said, I gotta give you a lot of credit. You have to take care of your own, and you're out here gigging. And it's so tough putting a band together. So playing the tracks, if people want to rip on you and that, just ignore them because you are singing, And it's kind of sad that people look at that, and I understand because I come from the generation of, you didn't do tracks, you had a band. I've been playing since 1974, so it's a long time. But with everything going on in today's technology and with the YouTube platform and social media, man, it's a different world we live in. It's either you conform or you get left behind. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Ken is a great friend of mine. Ken has played with Alicia Keys. Oh yeah, and that was wow. That's great. You know what I heard? There's a lot of people that have done a lot of work in the music industry, a lot of major work that live down here. Um, I think one of the guys from the Platters lived down here for a while, or he used to perform at West End and Cape Coral at the Cape Coral Marina. And then someone had told me, I don't know if he's still down there because his mom's got to be maybe passed. I hate to say that, but so the bass player from Led Zeppelin used to come down here to Cape Coral. And there's quite a few other people. I guess Brian Johnson from AC/DC used to live in Fort Myers Beach. I don't know if he's still in that area. That's not the only place that they live. I know Al Di Meola's got some property on the Miami side. Yngwie Malmsteen lives on the Miami side, which I could have swore. We did this gig over in Miami, and we were driving through this area, and you could tell it was super rich, man. These people had big money, and these people were somebody, and I could have swore that one area that we drove by, it could have been Yngwie's house because he had this video where he was pulling out in one of his Porsches, and it looked just like that, the exact, you know. And we were on our way to our gig, so I can't go and ring his doorbell or, hey, dude, what's happening, or anything like that, because we're on our way to do our gig, so. And I do know Gloria Esteban, or at least I heard she had her restaurant over in the Miami side, so there's a lot of people that's down here. But that is great, Ken. Yeah, I probably do know that. Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, bands are tough. Yeah, again, it's a different world, Peg, that we are living in. And, well, if you ever wanted to come to one of the open mics, maybe I should check out one of those open mics that you're at. We're still, school's almost off. We drive for the city of Cape Coral. We have our driving gigs, which thank God. Because, Peg, there once was a time when you could make some good money with music. Now it's very, very tough. You got to supplement. You got to have multiple streams of income. For a while, Deb and I were living off of our music. And I don't know, we had a good, almost 10 years or something like that. And I know 5 of those years, we had an annual increase. Because she was tracking. I'm like, wow, this is great. But then things started going a little bit south. People, they rotate. We were doing these corporate gigs, and funds were drying up and that. And Deb said, yeah, man, we're going to have to, good thing we got our CDL license and supplement the music with the driving. So when we moved down here in 2017, first thing we did was looked out for the driving jobs and secured them. And we both drive together at the same company. Got pension, got health, 100% health benefits because we're employed by the city of Cape Coral. And I'm still able to do my music and make money. Nothing changed. So if anyone tries to rip on you, if you had anything else that you got to do, don't ever be ashamed. It's better that you do that than be homeless. And it's tough. I feel so bad for the homeless. But if you could avoid that, hey. Let's see. We have my poor phone. Yeah, Cliff Williams. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, see, now how long have you been down here? Because obviously you've been down here for a while. Yeah, I have a day job. It pays pretty good, but I miss singing out. Yeah. Yeah, it's all your schedule, too. And, as we get older, we don't want to burn ourselves out because the gig I did for St. Patty's Day was downtown Fort Myers. And I played, and then played on a small stage, right on the other stage, bigger stage. Deb and the Dynamics there was setting up. And, man, I had, what happened was I got dehydrated, and it kicked in the AFib thing, and then I had to sit in the hospital overnight. Man, that sucked. That was not fun. Oh yeah, let's see. Oh, you've been here for 11 years. Yeah, okay. Where are you originally from? Because we're originally from Chicago. I was born and raised in Chicago, right by all the blues and jazz clubs there. And then moved out to the suburbs when I met my wife, the suburb of Aurora, Naperville, Illinois. I've done a lot of gigs out there, and in downtown Chicago as well. In East Peoria, then we started traveling. We started going to Texas and Arizona, New Mexico. We did a couple shows over in Europe, one in Ireland, one for, I call it the NATO gig because it was at the NATO base in Brussels, Belgium. Yeah, man, it's what a life it's been. Uh, Originally from Polk County, I was born and raised. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm from a small town called. Okay. Old man Dan, what is happening, brother? So good to hear from you, man. Hey, I just been a little bit busy, but I see your video. I gotta catch up on your videos, man. I'm so glad that you continue to post the videos, man. You know, yeah, this girl Peg. Um, oh, I know what I was gonna say, Peg. My friend Gordy, he had a couple ads on oh, what was that? Not Craigslist. I think called Band Mix. And then he said he got tired of it because, man, I'm paying this money and nothing's happening from him, you know? Yeah. Oh, it's a hick town. Yeah. You know, ah, wait a minute. Okay. Bartol. Yeah, Band Mix too. Okay. I'm wondering if I might have seen, because I looked through Band Mix and all that. See, I'm not exactly computer literate, so Deb has to help me with all that. But when people leave a number, I can at least call or text. I think I met a guy who is, I forget the guy's name. I got it mixed out, written down. But he does these shows, and he puts musicians together, anywhere from it sounds like um, um, Tampa Bay area, and he'll go down to Naples and do these shows. But I think he hasn't been feeling well for a while. He might have some health issues, and he had to put things on hold for a while. I think he's been on Band Mix. I'm trying to remember where I heard this guy before. And he contacted me, and obviously I must have contacted him. But, yeah. Yeah. I post some videos on there today. Oh, on Band Mix. Okay. So, is it also on YouTube then, right? The videos you posted? Because usually what I think is you could link the YouTube video to Bandmix, or Bandmix will say if you want to check out the videos, and it seems always to go to YouTube. Okay, and then old man Dan is, yeah, they are far and few between. Yeah, I know what you mean, old man Dan. I know exactly what you mean. I think YouTube's got so much competition now. With TikTok, with um, Instagram, and Rumble is becoming another really strong competitor, and you know, and then you know what's going on, Dan. Sometimes you put the best work there, and it's just so musical, and then no one watches her. It's like, what's going on? But if you're picking your nose, boy, they go like, oh, isn't it great? He's picking his nose. I mean, what is this, man? Let's see. Yeah, I was going to ask how you did. How did you find me? Yeah, I think it was through a video that popped up. I think it was because it said Hugh Caldwell. You know how YouTube pops up, all these videos, they'll just pop up randomly. But I might have seen your profile just, scrolling through Bandmix. Because I always look at, the Fort Myers, Cape Coral area. The small world we live in. Yeah, I'm on YouTube too. Yeah, I linked and I went. Oh wow! I'll see if I rewatched it. It's so cool that you got on my channel. It's so cool. Because I was really impressed with your voice. I'm like, wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I have a small base, and I am. Oh yeah. Same here. I mean, Yeah, it amazes me that people think, well, you know what? When you're good, and you know, I really think that it's kind of sad that the generalization of what good is through the masses is how many views you get. I'm not knocking that, or how many subscribers you have, or this or that, rather than the actual ability to do something. I would much rather watch someone that's really good at their craft. I don't care what their subscription and views really are, as long as if they're good and they're like, man, this is great. I mean, like when I want to learn how to do something, I'm not knocking people that know how to do it. I mean, I don't know how. There's quite a few things I don't know how to do. There's only a few things I do know how to do. Put it that way. But if someone wants to like praise me for, I don't know, driving my car or something, well, that's nice. But I'm a musician. You know, I think people kind of pick and choose, and then they kind of try to manipulate numbers and views and all that. And I'm like, man, like this guy that got busted faking things. Uh, I can't remember the guy's name. The guy really can play, but he's been ripping people off, and he's been getting endorsements. I'm going to tell you something right now with this situation with these companies. They do what they want. That's their company. That's their business. But why don't they reach out to people who are out there gigging? I think I know why. I think if their product craps out during a live performance, it's gonna look real embarrassing to that company. Now, I'm not saying if you're abusing the product, well, that's on the person abusing it, not the product. But if you're just normally using it for what it normally is for, and it starts crapping out, and let's say you're streaming live, like I do all my gigs live, something craps out. Maybe that's why nobody wants to send me something, because if it craps out on an actual gig, people are gonna say, "Oh, I don't think I'm gonna buy that." It's so easy to edit things in the studio or in a bedroom or whatever, and I'm not knocking that. But my point is, like this guy that's faking everything. Boy, they're building them guitars, and they're kissing both cheeks in the crack and everything. They find out it's a fraud. I mean, you can't possibly be this dumb. But let them do what they want. You know what I mean? Let them do what they want. Sometimes you got to learn a hard lesson. I don't know. I when I would reflect on back in the old days, when there'd be bands playing on TV, maybe a TV show, comedy show, and let's say they have a band playing, because that's part of the the daughter of the family. It's a family show. The daughter of the family, she's dating a guy that plays in a band, and he's gonna have the band come on and play. And then you don't see the name Marshall or Gibson or anything because it's blotted out. You know, maybe that's a good thing to do. Blot out their names. What are you using? Oh, I don't know. It's a secret. Trade secret. Then this way, it doesn't give that product or that company any views. You know. Let's see. Yeah. Oh yeah, Hugh and I are waiting. I'm waiting on him to do another song together. I think that's so cool. If I had the ability and the know-how to do that, I'd be reaching out to a lot of YouTubers. Definitely. Say like what I used to do, and I might go back to doing this. Let's see how the summer goes. Make these videos, and then if people wanted to put a guitar track to it, or like for yourself, you wanted to do a vocal track to it, just post up. What I do, Peg, is that I have usually my amp's a little bit louder. I run all my tracks through a PA system. I have my guitar amps, but when you're going to do bass, drums, and let's say if you got keys or the guitar synth, when it runs through a guitar cabinet, it sounds very boxy because a guitar amp and a guitar cabinet is very mid-range. So that's why I go right through the PA. And what I normally do, I'll have the PA speaker right by the phone while I'm recording. It's boom, live right then and there. And a lot of times the quality would be clear enough that I would not have to go direct and worry about editing. Now I got to clear my phone, or if we get new phones, I'm gonna have empty space, and I'm gonna make sure I'm not gonna flood it with everything. so I could do videos again from the phone and then post them up. But I think I'm going to do that. Uh, that's so cool. I really appreciate that. Yeah, you should grab because you saw I was local. That's really awesome. It's always good to see people that are local, right in the area. You know. And okay, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. I know one of them when I was doing the live stream. That live stream was it was either the art walk or the music walk, Fort Myers. You know how the art walk is, or in the music walk, they have you in different areas. Last time I was in right across the street from Ford's Garage Restaurant by Dean Street, I think that is, and they just opened up a small little park area, and it really is a small, it was just like concrete benches, and they got outlets right there, which is great. So we did a show. We did actually. It was a tribute to that lady that passed away. She had her art studio right across the street from Hideaway. And me and a guy named Gary, which is Lori's boyfriend. Lori, she's one of the ladies that books the art walk and the music walk. And they had us playing down there. Again, we're supposed to be down there. Oh my God, is it this? Not this Friday. Next Friday, we're gonna be down there, downtown. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't hear what other people. Uh, yeah, you know what it is. Yeah, I don't hear what other people hear. Yeah, that's how it is. You know what? We all sound when we're playing. Like when I'm playing, it's different than when I listen to the playback. It's like I'm playing, and as everything is coming out, it's like I'm trying to predict it. Or if I get caught in the emotion, I'll just let my fingers go and let whatever comes out. But it is definitely different. My biggest fear, the only fear I could say I honestly have this. My biggest fear is singing. I got a horrible voice. I don't like way my voice sounds when I talk. I just couldn't do it. And I mean, I wouldn't have the coordination. I could come up with melodies. I could come up with catchy song titles. But I've been an instrumentalist for so long, and I think in terms of melodies and rhythms and that more than I do words. So when I was younger learning songs, a lot of times I didn't even listen to what the lyrics were. So when I do songs, when I play them as a instrumental, I'll listen to the lyrics, but I don't listen to the lyrics because of what they're saying. I'll listen to the lyrics because where the melody is, and then do that. Like when I do the Eagles song, I can't tell you why. I do all the vocal melody on the guitar, and the other songs, the Journey songs and Foreigner songs, and because my weak spot is this is not my voice. This happens to be my voice. I use a mixer and my laptop for live. Oh, good for you. Good for you. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, when local people contact you, yeah, that's great. It's too bad that we don't have a stronger music scene for what the area is kind of known for. When I reflect on it, man, we had such a strong scene back up. Well, such a strong scene back in the '80s and even into the early 2000s in the Chicagoland area. Man, wow, man, it was. I remember the metal bands I'd be in. Not just the metal bands, but okay. For instance, there's an area downtown in the downtown Chicago area. Actually, it's called Lincoln Park. It was Lincoln Avenue. You had a place called Holstein's that was all folk. You had a place called Orphans, which I played at with a friend of mine from high school. A couple other places, and then you had the blues clubs. You had the jazz clubs, the rock clubs, the punk rock clubs, the indie rock clubs, and then you had some of these places that would have music 6 nights a week, and each night of the week would be a different theme. So it was always for places like that. Monday would be Blues Monday, Sunday would be like Jazz Sunday, and then on the weekends it'd be rock and hard rock and metal and punk rock and then indie rock. They had something for everybody. That same restaurant would make money. I remember I told that to a few of the restaurant owners down here. They looked at me like I had a third eyeball on my. I grew a third eyeball on my forehead. I'm like, man, you'd have such a variety of people. This place would really have happy. It would get known, but you see, they don't want to do anything. You know. I think it's starting to change a little bit though. Yeah, I try not to listen to the. Yeah, I can't. I do the same thing. Trust me. Uh, yeah, yeah, I think. Yeah, we are. We definitely are. We definitely are. We're our own worst critics. It's like I very seldom watch the playback on my videos, if only for like a reference. But and then there's two reasons why I'll do it. Yeah, I'll put the videos up, to show that things I can do and all that. But I think one of the main thing is so people could see what the live scene is like. I used to be able to turn the phone around and face the audience, and once in a while I'll do that. But sometimes people don't want that because if they're getting drunk at the bar and you start something, and man, it's gonna get picked up, and the whole world's gonna see it, man. So sometimes it's not a good thing. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. It's passion. Some of the videos you'll see me doing the classical and flamenco style. The only thing with that is it might sound crazy, but see my thumbnail. It needs to grow out more because the way it is now, if I do something with the classical guitar, the notes being played with my fingers can get more sharper value. This will get a softer value, and there's imbalances. I remember when I was studying to get into like these competitions for classical guitar, I literally would glue fake nails on and I remember it was especially in the early 2000s. I very seldom would use the pick and just go at it and go at it and go at it. And then I grabbed my electric guitar and grabbed it to keep up my picking technique and that. But it's a lot of maintenance. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's a passion. Now, does your husband play or sing or anything or? See, my wife, she used to kind of mess with the drums and the keyboard back, but her strong point is running sound and getting the contacts for me. She's very strong with the business. She's the one that got me to go over to Europe and play. Like, wow. I remember when I met her, I was playing in a metal band, and she heard me doing all the fusion stuff and the classical stuff, and she said, well, how come you're not doing anything with that? And I told her, I said, because I don't have anybody to help me. And she said, well, I'll help you. And when she started helping me, the doors just blew open, man. We were playing everywhere and traveling everywhere. It's like, wow. Oh, yeah. My phone. Yeah, he doesn't play he doesn't play when he was a kid. He played. Oh, wow, the viola. That was a long time ago. Yeah, well, when you're playing anything like violin, viola, cello, um, it's precision. It's really precision, and your vibrato is different because you can't really bend the strings, so everything is yeah, it's definitely different. And then you learn how to read. I learned how to read music when I was in grade school. Not grade school. I learned guitar in grade school, but it's in high school. And then buy the books and you start to. Reading music is not difficult. It's just the timing of it. I could play the timing of it, but when I have to look at it, like it's hard for me to like one and a two, and I could do that, but certain like dotted eighth notes when I see it on paper, when I'm playing it, I guess it just comes out naturally. I first learned a lot by ear, and then started playing out. And when you start that, man, you throw yourselves to the wolves, man. It's sink or swim, you know. Yeah. Oh, he didn't start. Oh, Oh, he didn't start singing until we were together 2 years. Oh, wow. So he also sings. Good for him. Yeah, you know what? It is. By doing things by ear, it really is the best. I do know the theory behind the saying of sometimes you will imagine notes that are not there. And yes, that's true. But the notes you're imagining are relative within that chord. So if they're not the right note right then as you're playing it, it's going to fit at that moment. And then later on, you start saying, okay, I think I got it here and there. But yeah, it's, music by feel, because music, playing music is a very emotional experience. To me, when I see somebody that are getting into it, whether they got their eyes closed or their hands up, or whatever they're getting into it, it brings out that emotion of the notes. When I see these videos, guys, and I'm not knocking it, just to me, I'm just giving my opinion. You get a lot of this, it's real popular. A lot of these girls are shredding on the guitar, or they look like they're shredding, they're playing, and they're like this. Oh yeah, I could do this all day. Like it's nothing. And it seems that they show the attitude like, oh, this is easy for me. I can't do anything. To me, they look so non-musical because there's no emotion behind it. There's like, even if you grab that one note and just the way you play it and just the sustain, you put all your emotion to it, it pulls a person's vibe in. Or when a person sings and they're holding that note, it just pulls you in. But if there's someone that's going to be like, yeah, I could do this all day. This ain't hard. Well, you're a demonstrator. You're not an artist. There's the two different worlds. And I'm not knocking it. For your demonstrators, I need it absolutely. But to put them in the actual performance world, where they got to pull that audience in, they might not succeed because they look like they're not interested. They look like somebody you go to at the DMV. Next. You push the next. You hit the little, used to hit a bell, ding, next. Oh, he sounds like Johnny Cash. Wow, in a way, but no, that's a good comparison. There is no passion, and yeah, yeah. If there's no passion in the performance, it almost looks like the person, and it happens. I'm not knocking it, but it almost looks like the person is just trying to get through the gig so they can get through it. They're tired, and it happens to all of us. But if it's happening more often than not, then it's like, okay, maybe you need to take a break from performing because it looks like you're worn out and tired. You're burnt out. You need a break. Because could you imagine you go see like the classics and they look like they'll just stand there and like blah 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 blah, all monotone. They're like, man, I paid money for this. Where's the action? You know, it'd be like David Carradine from Kung Fu singing. Yeah, there's no passion. It's the same way I view singing. Yeah, it's exactly. You know, playing instrumental guitar music and doing things with the melodies, it's it's almost like, we're not singing, but we're trying to mimic what singers do as far as the notes with the dynamics and the sustain, but also with certain lyrics, with certain words. It's like you're pulling in that audience because it's emphasizing that emotion. So that's why I'll tend to lean that way. Um, a lot of the stuff I've been doing lately has not been real shreddy. I love playing fast in that, but I gotta kind of watch that too, so I don't give myself a stroke or something. But I also like the letting the notes breathe and the melody because it's just so musical. You know, sometimes that's all you need is that one note, and it's just the way you're holding that sustain. It's tougher for vocalists because you'll run out of breath sooner or later. But when you're in that moment, it's just so captivating. Yeah, yeah, it lose interest exactly. Yeah, If you don't, you know what? It's like this. As a guitarist, um, I'll never forget the first time I heard Eddie Van Halen's Eruption. I was in high school. I went to my friend Bill Dolson's house. I was, what, a sophomore or junior? Can't remember. I graduated in 1981. I think I was a sophomore. And I'll never forget the wow factor of hearing and trying to figure out what is he doing on the guitar. Wow, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. But you know, that was 1978. This is 2025. And going through the 80s with all the shred generation and building my technique and playing fast and that whole thing, it had its moments and it'll always have its moment. But the reality is we do 3 and 4 sets of music, you know, as we're playing in the local scene. And especially at the restaurant. Could you possibly sit through 3 hours constantly of listening to Eddie Van Halen's Eruption over and over for 3 hours? I don't think so. And especially if people are eating and it's like they want to have a nice relaxing moment and then you're over there, you know, it doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. So sometimes you have to understand when you're playing something soft and melodic and this, even when you're bringing your dynamics down, like for when you sing, if you start singing real soft and you're emphasizing a certain part of the song that kind of sets the scene. It's like when you watch a movie, you know, and you're writing music for a certain scene and it's got to fit that scene to bring across that whole emotion. It's not always about the technique. Yeah. Yeah, that would be real cool. Let's see. Yeah, I'll, you know, if you come out to one of our gigs, or if you get on our website, DaveByronMusic.com, I think it is. See, my wife does everything, so yeah. You could find out our contact information, and get in touch with each other. And I like to check out some of these open mics. So the open mics that you've been going to, what days of the week do they have them? Because I know the one that's Educators Music that my friend Ray hosts from 5 to 8 every Tuesday. It's at Educators Music in Cape Coral. And like I said, that is straight up Pine Island Road. You go west on Pine Island Road. When you get to the corner of Santa Barbara Boulevard, it's where Santa Barbara and Hancock Bridge, or actually Pine Island and Hancock Bridge, they go together. Let's see here. Open mic on night. We can do that. I have to clean up and get ready for. But yeah, I do too. Yeah, same. Yeah, I gotta get ready because I gotta get up at 4 in the morning. Yeah, website. I will look it up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate that. Gotta go too. Hey, listen, and now, I'll look at this before I shut this down because I wish YouTube would leave. They used to leave all the comments, the live chat. They used to leave it up, but they don't do that anymore. I really wish they would do that. But yeah, we'll definitely do that. And yeah, maybe if your husband comes out and wants to sing too, it'd be cool. Definitely. And yeah, Deb, she always comes out. That is so cool. Yeah, meeting someone that's in the area. Wow. I think you are the closest person so far that's on YouTube. Because I've got my friend Michael Lipinski. He lives up in the Bradenton area. And then Jason Stallworth, he's like in that area as well. And then my friend Mark Malanko, he's now in Orlando. He used to work for Disney. Now he's running sound for Hard Rock Cafe in Orlando. And he's done some major shows, man. And he does the sound, and he plays in a band over at Old Reds in Orlando. He went to Berklee College of Music for it, and then he got a gig at Disney, and he's been there for about 9 years now. He's doing stuff for Orlando. He did some of the sound helping with, and he's real good at what he does, man. He's top notch. When Steve Vai was in town with that with the band called Beat, And what beat is they doing the music from King Crimson, and Mark was there. Mark didn't meet Steve, but he met, better yet, no disrespect to Steve Vai, but better yet, Mark talked with Steve Vai's guitar tech. So those are the people I like to talk to about, hey man, how do you control breaking strings when you're down in the hot weather? Because I had to go to the thinner pick. So far so good, you know. Anyways, I don't want to go on a tangent. Yeah, I got contact. Okay, I got contact Ken about Pickle Pub and ask. Okay, yeah, it's you know what? Here, I got one of my cards in here. Yeah, in my website. Yeah. Okay. www.davebyronmusic.com, or we got our email address is dbyronmusic@gmail.com. You know what I'll do? I'll get on your YouTube channel and I'll watch one of your videos, maybe your latest video, and I'll type all that in case you don't get that. I'll type that in for you because I gotta look at it myself. Like I said, Deb, she does all the website and everything. But let's see. Yeah. Okay, that sounds great. What's the website again? Okay. Oh, I'm gonna see if you got it because I wanna. Yeah, on Facebook too. Yeah, that's another thing. And again, my wife, she's the magic behind that. Oh, if it was up to me, I would have to do some serious schooling on all this. Technology is. Uh, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll definitely. Okay, thank you. Okay, excellent. Yeah, yeah, and then we'll yeah get in touch. I'll tell Deb. She's gonna be excited. Yeah, because we always like to meet people on YouTube, especially if they're in the area. And like I said, when I saw the video of you, I'm like, wow, man, this girl's got a good voice, man. Yeah, let's see. Okay, I got something right here that is blocking everything. Okay, yeah. Oh, you bookmark it. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I gotta get cruising because 4 a.m. is like right around the corner for me. And sometimes before I go to sleep, Deb and I listen to the CBS Radio Mystery Theater with E.G. Marshall. If anyone remembers that from the 70s, it's an old radio show. And let's see. Yeah, good night as well, and we'll talk soon. Definitely, definitely. We'll definitely talk soon. Okay, my friends, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate that. We love you all, guys. You guys are the best. You make all this worthwhile, I'll tell you that. And we will see if we can stream our live gig on Saturday. I'll keep everyone posted because there's some covers. We'll see what happens. And then, like I said, Peg, we'll check out your videos, and I'll leave you some messages too. Until then, my friends, you stay strong, safe, and true. Rock on, and God bless. We love you all. Thanks for watching. That is so cool.